Hi friends, welcome back to Gourmet Gateaux. Now in this video I'll be showing you two tutorials, one of which is my fresh cream recipe and a tutorial. I've had a lot of you ask for my recipe for fresh cream, so one of those tutorials is going to be that, and the second one is going to be the sugar sheet technique. I know a lot of you have asked me for one of those tutorials as well, and it's currently the new cake trend for 2020, and there's a lot of craze out there for this technique. So my second video is going to be on the sugar sheet technique. I'm so excited to show you how to do that. And so we'll first get started with the fresh cream tutorial, and then once we've done that, we'll do the sugar sheet. So moving right into our first tutorial, which is the fresh cream. I know a lot of you have requested a fresh cream recipe which holds whilst being piped or whilst being used, and a lot of you have difficulty finding the right recipe that is stable to be used and piped. So the one that I use, so the magical product that I use is buttermilk. It's absolutely brilliant. It's by Meadow, and you can get this from Macro here in the UK. Buttermilk is what you want. So I've tried supermarkets own brands buttermilk to include Sainsbury's and Morrison's, and it's definitely not given me the same results as this little baby does here. So definitely this is the brand you want to buy if it's available. You can sit there and literally eat the whole bowl and it'll still feel like you hardly ate any. It's really fluffy and it's really airy. It's better than the actual double cream. I've always used this ever since I've known about it, and really I didn't come across it the first time I started making cakes. Like everyone else, I used to use the double cream that's available in the supermarkets. Because my sister has a cooking channel, she used buttermilk in one of her recipes, and when I bought the carton and I looked at it and it said use just like double cream, and I thought, wow, I need to try this if it works. And I was really surprised to know that it works better than the double cream. It doubles in size. I've got roughly half a carton left because I used the remaining half to make 4 batches of butterscotch sauce. Yes, 4 batches. It's absolutely yummy. And if anyone wants a recipe for my butterscotch sauce, do let me know in the comments and I'll happily do a tutorial on that. So now let's get right into making the cream. So I'm just going to empty the remaining carton of my buttermilk into my bowl here. The only thing you really need to know about this cream is it does take quite a bit of icing sugar. But you can add that to taste. So there's not really a measurement for how much I use, just add it to taste. And it takes quite a long time to whip as well, to get that really nice consistency. And it pipes like a charm. I'm just going to add a few drops of vanilla because I don't want the vanilla to overpower the butterscotch. I want the butterscotch to overpower the vanilla. So I'm just going to add a dollop of that. And I'm going to add 3 heaped spoons of icing sugar. Again, don't measure it. Don't measure the icing sugar because you just want to add that to taste. So we're now going to mix this on a low speed, and then I'll come back and show you what the consistency of the cream looks like before we can start beating it. And we are going to still be using the same blade, so I won't worry about changing the blade to the whisk. So I'll be back shortly. And if you're also going to add some colouring, now is the time to do that as well. You don't want to add it once you've half mixed the cream, so you don't over whip it at all. So I'm just going to add a dollop of pink. So I'm just going to give that a mix. So now that I've mixed this in for about 10 to 15 minutes on a low speed, I'm just going to quickly show you what the consistency is before you start beating it on the highest setting. So it's a little bit thick and it's a little bit runny as well. This is the perfect consistency you'd want to start whipping it up into the cream. And at this moment in time, taste it, add any more sugar, any more flavour, or any more colouring. So any colour or anything you want to add, just add it now. And I'm just going to go ahead and taste this as well to see if it tastes okay. Oh, that's nice. Absolutely perfect. It's not too sweet. So I'm now going to go ahead and whip this in, and then I'll come back and show you what the texture is and what the cream looks like once it's all done. And there we have our finished double cream. This is what the consistency should look like. Like, it's not coming off the spoon very quickly. It's not coming off at all, actually. And you have to literally hit the bowl with the spoon to get it off the spoon. This is exactly the consistency you want. Although it says you can't over whip buttermilk, but you still don't want it. You still don't want to risk it. So as soon as you see that it's developed this sort of a consistency, stop there and just scrape the bowl. And if you've got any bits that are liquidy or any bits that are still running at the bottom, just bring them to the top and give that another whisk for 1 minute, and that's it. And you definitely don't want to go over that. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's so airy and fluffy and light all at the same time. This is perfect for piping rosettes. You can smooth this just as normal. And I'm now going to go ahead and taste it and just see what it tastes like. That is gorgeous. Very nice, very fluffy. It's not too sweet. It's not too bitter. But do bear in mind, you do need to add quite a bit of icing to this. But again, add it to taste. If you prefer it more sweet, then yes, definitely go ahead and add a lot more icing sugar. If you don't like it that sweet, then don't add as much. But this is perfect for me. And that's how it looks like once it has a chance to sit for a couple of minutes. Now it's even stiffer than it was before. And I'm just going to get my cake stuff ready so I can sandwich them. And this is the moment you realise that you've not got any piping bags. But not to worry, we can always improvise. That's why freezer bags come in handy. And all I'm going to do is put some fresh cream into my piping bag. Bring all the icing down to the bottom. And you're just going to snip one corner, one end of the bag. And we're just going to pipe that into the middle. Which we're just going to smooth with our palette knife. And this is just to get the cake stuck to the board. And this is an 8-inch board, and my cake is a 6-inch. And then I'm just going to get my first piece of cake, and the parchment is still on there. And I'm just going to put that in the center. And if you're looking at the colour of the cake thinking it's burnt, it's not burnt. I just swapped out the regular sugar with some brown sugar to go with my butterscotch cake, and that's why it's a little bit brown than normal. And then I'm just going to do a little rim oh, I can't even hold this piping bag, around the cake. Just so when I put my butterscotch sauce in the middle, it doesn't leak. And this is sort of a border to keep it in. And I've just melted my butterscotch sauce a tiny bit in the micro so it's more spreadable consistency. And I'm just going to put a dollop of that inside the middle. Oh, it smells gorgeous. And then I'm just going to take the cream off the palette knife and just spread that. In the middle. If you think there's some extra in there, just take some off and pop it back in there, in the tub. And then just smooth that out as best as you can. As it's quite thick, it's quite difficult to smooth it out properly. And that's the best I'm gonna get. And then onto my second piece. And then again, another border there. And then go around and then dirty ice it. And there we have our fresh cream cake. And I'm now going to pop this in the fridge to chill for around half an hour whilst I make the sugar sheet. With this type of cream, it needs to lock in as much moisture as it can. So do not put this in the fridge without covering it. Otherwise, all the moisture will be taken out of it and it will completely dry, resulting in the cream to crack in certain places, and we certainly don't want that. So if you guys are unaware that fresh cream does certainly belong in the kitchen, I mean in the fridge, but you want it covered at all times. So I'm now gonna put this in a tub and go and pop it in my fridge completely covered.